Hello. Finally, we are going to make use of the Kubernetes deployment that we created earlier. My intention is that let us host a small website using the Kubernetes deployment. I'm going to show you what we are going to achieve. But before we continue, may I ask you to please subscribe to my channel, to like, and to share. So this is what we are going to do. Here I have this small Django application. So what it does is that when we check, it's like a weather app. So we use it to get weather forecast for cities around the world. Here I've got this city, Prague. When I click get weather, it shows us the weather information of the city. So if we check, let's say London, it shows up the weather forecast for London. So we don't care if this is accurate or not, but the important thing is that we want to be able to use our Kubernetes deployment to deploy this very application. Currently, I'm going to stop this application because I'm running it now in Docker, but I'm going to stop it so that we can run it in using the Kubernetes that we created. Another important information that I would like to share with you is this. The Django application that we are going to host, I already have it uploaded here in Docker Hub in the registry. So this is the what we are going to use. This is the image. I just uploaded it about 1 day ago. So we are going to use this image to Django image to host our application. So now let's start. Let me show you the deployment that we created earlier. So that was the deployment that we created in the previous tutorial. If you would want to watch how or know more about this deployment in Kubernetes, you can watch the video. The link will be somewhere in the description field. Now, let me open this file, and we are going to make some changes so that we will be able to run our weather forecast app here. One of the things that we need to change would be, instead of 12 replicas, we could just have one in order to make it, in order for it to be created faster. So we would have one replica, and the next thing we need to change here would be the name of the container. It doesn't really matter, but we can just change it to something else. So we can call it Django app. Then the most important thing here, because now we want to use our Django image, the weather forecast image that is going to be pulled from the Docker registry. So what the image, if you remember, we called it, this would be my, so what you would normally use would be your username for the Docker hub, the registry. So in my case, it's something like this. Then slash the name of the image, which is, I think it is my Django app, then latest. So this is what I called it. So if you remember when we checked the weather forecast, so that was the name of the image that I used. So basically you use your username, then the name of the image. In this case, mine is my Django app, then latest tag. I use the latest tag here. Another thing that we want to change would be this. So we can use, instead of this very port 80, we could use port 8000, which is what Django runs on. So we change this to port 8000. So this is basically all the things I believe that we needed to change here. Now let me go on and save this. So let's check this again and compare. Oh, by the way, there was something else I was supposed to add. Let me open this file again. Another important thing that we need to add would be, let me just do it, then I will explain to you what it does. So we are going to add a image pool policy. So we are going to add image pool policy, we say always. So what this does, if you understand how the images work, because here we have latest, which means that we would always want to use the latest version of our image, right? So when you have the image pool policy, what it does that, where it would always pull the latest version. Just imagine that we change this version to version 2, this image to version 2. If you don't have the image pool policy, what happens is that it could pull the old version. But when you have the image pool policy, what happens is that it always, whenever you run this, it always pulls the latest version of your image. So this is important. You could leave it out if that doesn't matter in your case, but this is the best way to do this. Now I will go back and save this. Now let me check it again. We can compare this now to what we had earlier. Now we are going to apply our changes. To do that, we use kubectl apply -f, then the name of the file. Oh, something, deployment error, something was missing or something wasn't properly written. Let me open the file again. So let us find out where the issue lies. Now, make sure to indent your code very well, because this is very strict. So it was on line 18. So after making sure that it is well indented, let us go on and run this again. So make sure, let me first of all show you that your code should be well indented. So that's what it should look like. Now let us apply our project with kubectl apply -f, then the name of the file. Now it says our deployment has been configured. Now let us check kubectl. Let us get deployment. Oh, that should be kubectl get deploy. So we've got only one. Now let us get our pod just to make sure that everything is working. So we also have things that got terminated. So everything should be working fine. So this was the one that we just created now. It's creating. If you look at the edge, you will find that that was the one that just got created. So let us check it again. Let me clear this screen. So let us get the pod again. Now the pod is running. That was the one we just created now. So what we are going to do is to access our application. So if you remember, like I said earlier, we are not going to create any service in order to be able to access our application outside of the Kubernetes that is on our host. So what we are going to do now, how do we access our web app, our weather forecast app outside of Kubernetes, like to access it on our on the host machine? So usually you need to create a service to be able to access it, but we haven't created any services yet, but we still want to use our application. So I'm going to show you how you can do this. So the command we are going to use, kubectl port force. So this is what will force what will make it possible for us to access our application as on the host machine. So this port force is port forward. Sorry, port forward should be port forward. Then deployment. Then the name of our deployment is web server deployment. Then port 8000. So it's going to map the port of the Django application, map it to the port to the host machine, so we will be able to access it outside of the on the host machine. So when you have this, let us hit enter. Now it is forwarding, as you can see. Now let me go to the browser and we are going to try this. So now we can access the application outside of the browser. I told you earlier that when we tested this in the beginning, we access it through Docker. So I'm going to show you, I hope I still have it here. So here I stopped it. Let me clear the screen to make it a bit easier to see. So let me use Docker ds. So this is how I access it from the host, from Docker. But as you can see, it is no longer working on Docker. It exited, as you can see. So it was stopped. So it's not running off of Docker anymore. Instead, we are now accessing it, the one we hosted on our Kubernetes. If you wanted to test this, let me stop it. Now I stopped it. Let us check. As you can see, it is no longer running. Let us start it again. Let us run our port forward again. Now it should start running. Let me refresh. It's working again. So this is how you can easily host your web app in Kubernetes deployment without without creating any services. So it is as easy as that. Just make sure, just know what the images that you are going to use. So we use this image here, as you could see. So if you would want to use this, make use of my web app in order to try this out yourself, you write it in the comment field and I'm going to post it there so that you can make use of it in your own tutorial. So I hope this has been helpful. Can I ask you please to subscribe to my channel, to like and to share? Thank you.